Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Karishma Connect. You're watching, I know, and I'm really happy about it. So, thank you so much for all the support and encouragement. Keep liking, sharing, subscribing, and all that jazz. And I am back with another episode featuring Vikrant Fernandes, who is the founding engineer of the FitYoga app. What is the FitYoga app? Well, it's exactly what Deepika Padukone presents to her client in Gehraiyaan, which is this web series on Prime. And if you've watched it, that is one thing very interesting, and that's exactly what Vikrant Fernandes has been working on. Now, how I met him was years ago on Tinder. There's a funny story where I swiped right with him for a day literally and deleted the app the next day because those who know me know that I'm not at all into this app game thing. But nevertheless, years later, when I saw that Vikrant is doing this, I said, why not share this story on Konnect? So here we go. Go check out the episode. It's all about product development, the app, how you can use it, why is it important, all that and more. Stay tuned. Looking forward to bringing you more episodes. Until next time, Karishma Connect. Keep connecting. Bye. Thank you so much, Vikrant. This is a really, one of the most, I think, funniest ways that I've had a guest on Curry Connect. But I'm really, really happy to have you on board. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. And so, for those who don't know, Vikrant, I'm going to, of course, give an introduction before this in a separate video. But tell me something about that little bit of publicity. I think you should just go ahead and speak about it yourself, which has happened in Gehraiyaan. There's something very, very deep in there. You go ahead and tell the people because I don't want to spoil that moment.
All right. So first of all, thanks for having me. I mean, it's good to be on the show. Um, so what we essentially are is I'm a founding product engineer at Physique Health Studio, and essentially what we have is a product that allows users to have a one-on-one training experience from the comfort of their home.
Yeah.
And as seen in the movie Geraya, is what while she's doing it, with the computer and everything, it's like as your user is doing their workout, uh, we are tracking the body and we are able to give feedback on the spot, if corrective feedback on the spot, like if you're doing it right, if your body is unaligned, some body part is unaligned, and how you can correct it, and so on and so forth. So that's essentially, kind of like when we saw that in the movie, it was kind of like a boost up, like, oh wow, it's already free publicity that we are getting. And since then things have been like, been really good. People are like reaching out to us and be like, oh look, we saw your app in the movie. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
But tell me something. How did you come up with the idea, first of all? How did this whole thing?
Okay. So
Tell me about your.
we yeah. So what happened was, most what we realized was most people, they have tiny inhibition when it comes to going to the gym and working out. These folks, they prefer working out from the comfort of their home. The thing is, when you're working out from home, you don't have that corrective feedback, someone to tell you if you're doing it right or if you're doing it wrong. And sometimes if you're doing it wrong, you could damage a body part. Take for example a plank, a simple plank, right? Now we all know that when you're doing a plank, you need to keep your body level. But the thing is, let's say if your hip goes up or your hip goes down, you wouldn't realize it when doing it, and in the long run it would lead to like a lower back pain problem. So it kind of would work against you. So we thought, how do we actually address this problem? And then, as we thought about, we came up with we came up with a solution of like, what if the user simply just placed their phone camera and kept it down on the ground and turned it on? Then we would be able to detect their entire body, and then as they're doing the workout, based on how the alignment is of their hip to shoulder, shoulder to elbow, hip to knee, so on and so forth, how they're doing if the alignment is accurate, then we can give feedback, and we can say you're doing it right, you're doing it wrong, correct your knee, correct your elbow, depending on what workout it is. So when we built this out sometime in 2020, and we launched our first product, that was Physique AI, towards the end of December 2020. In that product, we had just basically three exercises. We had a plank, we had push-ups and sit-ups. The whole idea of that Physique AI app that came out back then was to see if users would actually, accept this idea of working out from home using just a mobile phone, and would actually, use it on a day-to-day basis. As we kept talking to more customers, we realized that there are some other companies also in the same space. And then, like, how then the question came, like, how are you going to compete with other companies?
Yeah.
And rather than actually competing with them, we thought like, okay, hey, you know what, we are in India, so why not just build a product that is more focused and more, India centric as such.
Mm.
And that's how we came up with Fit Yoga. That is now this product. Fit Yoga is plainly yoga related exercises that you can do. And obviously, during this entire time the pandemic was going on, so people weren't like really going to the gyms. So it was kind of like, we got lucky with the whole situation. People were like adopting the platform fast because they needed to work out and they needed something that they could do it from their home as well without
Yeah.
going to the gym. So it was kind of like a plus to it all. And so far now Fit Yoga is going good. We started with a very simple Surya Namaskar, and now over time we've added a lot more sequences, a lot more asanas that people can do. And it's been an entire 1 year's journey.
How do you, first of all, coming to the practicality of the app, how do you kind of deal with different body types, different structures when this kind of a thing is being detected? That's one question. Go ahead with that, and then I'll come to the.
Okay, so what we do is we actually use AI within the app, and our trained AI models essentially is able to detect your entire body
Okay.
pose. And so it really doesn't matter, like, what gender are you, what body type are you, what's your weight, height, etc. So the AI is smart enough to understand your entire body. It's able to detect your shoulder, your elbows, your hip, your knees, everything. And so yeah, that, and once it's able to detect that entire body of yours, it gives us I mean, to get a little technical, it gives us these coordinates in this, in our 3D space, and then based on that we are able to tell, how good, how.
What kind of research goes into saying that, okay, this is the right pose? Do you like talk to professionals, or is it something
Oh
being,
yeah.
uh,
So we've got a couple of yoga instructors who are working with us.
yeah,
Even on the app, when you see the people who are doing the yoga, these are actual instructors, and they keep giving us an advice like, okay, so if you're going for asana, say for example the child pose asana, right?
yeah.
This is the alignment that the body should. This is the alignment the back should be at. This is the inclination. This should be the angle that your knee should be at, and so on and so forth.
What's the kind of usage that you've noticed on the Fit Yoga app?
We've had two sets of users. One is from the young demographic, that is from the ages of 20 to 30, uh, and it's an equal gender of male to female. And the
Hmm.
second demographic that we've got is from the elderly, that is 45 plus, 50 plus. These are people who are just trying to, like, ensure a good wellness and ensure their health using yoga,
Yeah.
and that's essentially the upper age bracket that we've noticed on our app.
And what's next? Are you planning to launch any new things on it? Or
So right now, over the entire 1 year, we've perfected the platform such that, we can push content from the backend, and, without a lot of updates to the app, this content is delivered to the end user. So now we will be adding a few more features. Let's see, we are hoping to add a challenge feature where, you and a friend can challenge each other
yeah.
to see how many who can do how many Surya Namaskars in a single day, or stuff like that. So yeah, we are looking at features that we can add in order to keep getting people back and using the app.
And this is available on both iOS and Android. Okay.
Yes, it's available on both and iOS as well as Android.
It must have been quite the process, right? What have been your takeaways from it? Like, just to come up with this from a pro startup perspective. What have you learned?
Oh, it's my takeaways. Okay. Obviously never give up, because, there could be times when you realize like this is not something that's going to work out, or it's just too difficult. But now when we have actually built it and launched it, we realize that people like it. So, just keep at it. Don't give up. Be persistent is something that I learned. And one more thing that when we realized that we should go from strength exercises to yoga related exercises, we realized was it's important to be relevant as well. I mean, okay, you've got an idea, you've built a product, but it's if that product is not relevant to the customers within your country,
Mm.
what's the point of it all? So it's yeah, that's one key takeaway I would say, is like it's important to be relevant with respect to the users that you have on your platform.
The market, yeah. Like they say, consumer is king always.
Yeah, consumer is king.
One thing that you think everybody who's kind of starting out, especially from a product development perspective, because that's something that you're involved in, right? So,
Correct.
what would be your kind of pro tip for
All
them?
All right. So when it comes to product, especially when it comes to mobile-based products like mobile apps, it's really important to give an experience to a user that's okay. Let's put it this way. you have a Rubik cube, right? Now that's a physical product in your hand. Now the
Yeah.
user plays around with it and he gets that aha moment
Mm.
after he, like, he solves it. So that's a kind of like a tangible product, something, which they're holding in their hand, and you can get that aha experience out of it.
Mm.
Now you, when you're developing a mobile based product, an app essentially, you need to give that same aha experience in an intangible way. So it's really important, like, your UI UX is really good, it's clean, it's minimalist, and it's not too clunky. It's not overwhelming the user. Like, he should not open up the app and, should look at things and be
Mm.
like, oh man, what is this, what is that, it's just too much, I can't, and leave the app. So it's got to be really clean, and it should give that whole aha experience. That's essentially what we call it. I would say that's one. Obviously, like I just said, it's really important to build relevant features with respect to your app. Yeah, final point I would say is, like, just be ready for failure in this business, because if you look at the Google Play Store statistics, on a daily basis, approximately a little over 3,500 apps are launched. Like,
Mm.
just daily, there's like 3,500 apps launched. So there's a really good chance, like, if you have an idea and you're building an app, there's a really good chance that someone else is doing the same thing and is going to be uploading that as with you as well. So, you should just be ready to, if failure is going to be the end result, then you should be ready for that. Or you should be ready to, like, if you see a competition, how you can work around that, how you able to beat whatever they are offering.
If you just had to define product development for dummies, what would you say? What would be how would you describe it? Because I'm sure not
So,
everybody on this show, whoever's watching, knows the technicalities of your field. So, how would you
all right.
kind of break it down for them?
All right. So product development. I mean, there are multiple frameworks to it in which you can, put your product into. But it's the very most simple thing to think about is, like, you have a problem. Okay, you've gone out in society, you found a problem. So now you took this problem and you're building a product. So the product development is, what is the journey? What are the different stages that you're going to go through during this entire flow? So I'll just quickly break it down. So, like, first stage, for example, is you identify the problem. Great. Second stage is what we call is coming up with your core value proposition. Now, what is that? Is that if you have a solution, at the very core of it, what is the proposition that you are given? What is the value that your solution is going to be offering to the end user? So you
Mm.
got to define that. All right, great. You did that also. Then you went ahead and you built what we call as the MVP, the minimal viable product,
Mm.
right? That is the very most basic thing. That is, you have your solution. What is the most basic problem that you're solving? You build that out in the MVP. And then, okay, great, now you build that also. Now what you do is you go out to a small group of users and you give them your MVP, and you let them play around with it, you let them test it out, you let them break it also. And they'll come back to you and they'll tell you, like, okay, you know what, your solution is great, but you can make some changes here. You can probably add another feature over here, or maybe this is a feature which is not required. So that's what we call as a validation stage. So you get validation from a small group of users. And now finally, when you're happy with what feedback you've got, you go out and you actually launch the product into the market. And that's what we call as, during this stage, when you actually launch the product, you are now looking at metrics, you're looking at analytics of how the users, the entire public, is using your app. And that's what we call is achieving product market fit. And
Mm.
you're in this stage where you're trying to ensure your product is market fit and people are using it. And there are tons of metrics, depend on what is your product, which industry you're in, that tell you if your product is fit or no. But one very basic metric is retention. If you have 20 to 30% retention of your entire user base, then you can say, like, okay, I have achieved some sort of product market fit, people are coming back and using my platform. So that's a good thing. And then after that is what comes, the final stage is the network effect, where the people who are coming and using your app on a daily basis, they automatically start talking to other people. And your first customer then brings in the second and third customer by just word of mouth. So if your product is that good that it is solving a person's problem, they automatically start telling other people about it, and then those guys bring in more people.
It's been lovely speaking to you. Thank you. Short, sweet,
Thank you
simple.
for having me.
Anytime.